Hello everyone, this is Kat, and welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about perks, what are some of the best perks, and which ones are overall available, as well as just how they work in general. So in the last video, I already covered how to get more perk points and more maximum perks on your soldiers, which is the soldier progression video. If you haven't seen that one and you want to know how that works, go check that one out. But today we're going to focus on perks only. So how perks work is that each perk has a potential cost associated with them, and you can only have perks if they fit within your perk caps. You have three different types of caps. You have mobility related perks, survivability related perks, and firepower related perks. And again, you can only have perks if they fit in this perk cap. And every soldier comes with one passive, which generally costs 0 perk points, except for drivers, which actually cost 1 mobility point. And yeah, these are unchangeable and are only dependent on what soldier type you have. So for example, a soldier's got 1 additional inventory space, while engineers get a higher sprint speed, snipers get a faster movement crawling or crouching. Well, these ones get a wire. Well, it says run speed, but they mean walking when they say that. So you're faster when walking, but not when sprinting. These ones are faster when sprinting. Furthermore, certain soldiers might have some additional statistics, which can be viewed right here. See, the nuke stats for the gunner class are +3 weapon handling and -1 speed, meaning that their overall walking speed is lower, but they notice recoil less than older soldier types. And that's something you do want to keep in mind as well, that every soldier type has its own innate stats as well. With the engineer, for example, being +1 vitality, +1 speed. So they get a slightly higher health, about 5%, 10%, something like that. And they are faster to walk with. And combining that with the higher sprint speed, they are one of the fastest classes in the game. And if you want to further amplify that, you can actually get a 15% higher sprint speed if you actually get 8 mobility perk slots. But first, we're going to cover the perks that do not cost any perk points. The first one is mobility oriented, and it's higher speed of changing pose, which means that the rate at which you go from, for example, running to walking, or from like doing nothing to starting to swap weapons, like not actually the weapon swapping, but the swap from idle to the weapon swapping animation, those animation transitions will be faster if you have this perk. It's not very good because most of the transitions are like 0.1 second, and they will bring it down to like 0.05 seconds, so it's really like not much of a change. Now on the other one, we have 100% faster stamina regeneration, which is a decent perk in that it allows you to, if you run out of stamina, it allows you to regain it faster, so it allows you to jump more often or sprint more often. However, there's going to be one more perk related to it right here, more stamina, that is going to be much better. We're going to cover that in a second. Lastly, we have the 50% faster weapon changing, which affects weapon swapping from primary to secondary to sidearm, melee, and equipment, meaning that swapping to a grenade is also faster with this perk, allowing you to whip it out faster, throw it earlier, and swap back to your weapon faster and continue your fight, which is probably the best of these three. So if you're going for a free perk, you probably should be getting this one. Then we're going to go on to the mobility perks. The first one is faster movement crawling or crouching. And this one is kind of underwhelming for most classes except for gunners and snipers, because those are generally lying down or crouching for the snipers to get more cover, for the gunners to get better recoil handling. And being able to move faster while in those poses means that you're less like prone to stand up and run around, not really being able to effectively shoot sometimes, especially with the gunner. So it's decent, not like very amazing. Then we got the 40% great maximum jump height, which is quite frankly a useless perk, because whatever you could already jump/climb on is still climbable. but whatever you could not jump or climb up on is still not climbable because with this perk. Like you cannot get up on a house thanks to this perk. Um, so yeah, it's really something you should avoid. Then we got the faster climbing of any objects. If you're really like fan of climbing a lot of stuff, maybe it's something for you. Generally, these early mobility perks are something to avoid. Then we get higher run speed, which is again walking, not running, like sprinting. Decent, but of course the higher sprint speed is like the perk to go for in terms of mobility. And even when you got like a maximum soldier, you generally won't have more than 10, 12 mobility slots, meaning that's the only mobility related perk you'll be able to have anyways, so there will be no point in going for any of the other perks. So after that, we're gonna go have the health perks, and I'm just gonna go grab another soldier so I can really list them better right here. And the first one is gonna be 100% more stamina, costing 2 points. And it's one of the best perks in the game because even though it does not allow you, it doesn't double your stamina on spawn, it does double the stamina cap, meaning that when you're standing still for a little while, it's gonna regenerate to above the normal amount to up to 2 times more stamina, meaning you can run or jump twice as long or twice as much. And especially when you're running around with the engineer, you really can cover a long stretch of distance within a single sprint if you have double stamina. Like you can generally go from entirely from cap point to cap point in a single dash, and that's just a really big advantage to health. So this is definitely one that you should pick up when you can. And after that, we'll have more health generation out of battle, costing 3 points. And this is a really mixed bag depending on your playstyle. So how health generation works is that after about 30 seconds of not taking any damage and your health being really low, it will start to regenerate. However, it caps at about 30 to 40% health without this perk. So you have to be under 30 or 40% health to start regenerating, and it will stop regenerating once you hit 30 or 40, between 30 and 40% health. This perk allows that to go up to around 70%, 80% health, and allows you to save a bunch of medkits. However, it does take 30 seconds for the cooldown to go down, and then it takes multiple seconds for the health to regenerate. So you have to be out of combat for like 35, 40 seconds, which is quite frankly just a really long time to save a medkit. While the next perk, namely the medpack restores 200% more health, allows you to save a medkit by if you're really low on health, because you're gonna have to use one medkit anyways if you have the health regeneration perk, because like you're still not at max health. While the medkit restores 200% health means the medkits are 3 times as more effective, which allows you to fully heal yourself with a single medkit basically all the time. Meaning that that one saves you medkits and time for only 1 extra perk point, which is why I think you should evade the health regeneration perk and go for the medpack health restore perk instead. Then we have aim stability after receiving damage, which reduces the flinching effect and the weapon sway when you're flinching when you get shot. It's not really a needed perk, however, because the weapon sway, if you're at really close range, like with bolt action rifles, you generally die in a single hit anyways, for the most part. And with SMGs, like if you're at really close range, you're also just dead anyways if they are starting to shoot first. So it really doesn't like help you a whole lot, and you're much better off getting the stamina or medkit perks. Now, lastly, on the vitality perks, we have 35% more vitality, which is just straight up 35% more health, meaning you're much less likely to get a one shot, and you're gonna just take much more of a beating. It does make it so that a single medkit at triple effectiveness doesn't quite heal you in one use, because of course you have 35% more health, and it's only like this thing only heals you for like 90% health, and you would have 135 in total. So it doesn't quite fully heal you anymore, but it's just really, really powerful just to go in a battle with 35% more health. So this one is an absolute priority. You should always pick it up when you can. Of course, it costs 8 points, so it's not very likely to show up, because, for example, right here, I can physically not get it, because, again, I don't have the cap for it. And lastly, we got firepower perks. We got more ammunition for main weapon, costing 2 points, which is a really good perk as well, just like the more stamina perk. Because you probably have run into situations where you just run out of ammo and you have like no more squad mates, and you can't really do anything because with a knife you're not gonna really kill much people. You're gonna run up them and die, and you can't request ammo from your squads. And generally, you don't have like an ammo replenisher from engineer nearby either, so you're just like dead in the water. This perk makes it nearly impossible for that to happen, namely that you have 45 rounds of bolt-action rifle ammunition, and you have almost 280 rounds of SMG ammunition when using the MP28 or MP38, which namely get 256 rounds of spare ammunition and 32 in the chamber when you start. 32 in the mag when you start. So it's a really good perk, especially on weapons like shotguns and light machine guns, which have a kind of also anti-tank rifles and mortars, which all have like pretty low starting ammunition counts. So doubling those makes them just have a lot more staying power in the field and allowing you to just get many more kills just without running dry on ammunition. Now we have a 15% faster decrease of shot spread after quick turning of the weapon, and 25% less shot spread after quick turning of the weapon, which is quite frankly useless. Because I don't know if you guys know, but the inaccuracy in Enlisted is not related to shot spread, but rather it is related to weapon spray, weapon sway, meaning that during the animation of your soldier walking, the gun is moving up and down, and that also affects where the bullet comes out of the barrel, in what direction, and, if you're just shooting too fast, it will miss because the gun is not facing the enemy. And this perk does not affect that at all. It only affects the very minor inaccuracy of your weapon, because the guns do have a slight bit of shot spread, but very, very, like, a very small amount. And this really doesn't help you much there. Then we get a higher rate of fire when using bolt action rifles. And this perk allows you to, fire bolt action rifles much faster. Do note that an anti-tank rifle, like the Panzerbüchs 38, does not count. So it is unaffected. And in the same way that the PTRS on the Russian side, which is right here, is also unaffected. However, in the next perk, which is the reload perk, right here, 24% faster weapon reload, does affect the PTRS, but not the Panzerbüchs 38, because the PTRS is a 1-round magazine, and this thing has a 10-round magazine and only reloads after 10 shots, despite having to operate the breach every single shot. So noted that this perk is best on weapons that are either single shot, such as the shotgun and the PTRS, or weapons that have a very long reload, like the light machine guns, or a weapon that just needs to reload fast, like an SMG. It is not very useful in stuff like bolt action rifles or semi-automatics, as those are generally further away from combat and they don't really have to need to reload as fast. So yeah, it's really a mixed bag on where you want to use it for and whether it's your playstyle. Like if you're already hiding behind corners to reload, it really doesn't matter much, because generally you'll be reloading faster than you can hide and get back out. So at that point it becomes useless as well. And lastly, we have the 70% less vertical recoil while standing and horizontal recoil while standing. Both of these perks only work while standing and not while crouched or prone, meaning that if you're only using your weapon when crouched or prone, it doesn't affect you at all, and it's a really big waste of the 7 or 8 perk slots. Furthermore, even if you have like a really high level character, you cannot have both of these perks. So you have to choose between one of the two and think whether you are better at handling vertical recoil or horizontal recoil. Now, For some weapons, it can actually lead to having the most recoil when you're crouched, because the 70% less recoil reduces it to the point it's less than when you're crouched while you're standing, and while prone, you also have less recoil, so it also has that, like, you notice it less then, but when crouched, you might have more recoil, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And these are totally up for preference. You don't need them if you are used to the weapon that you're using, and you can instead go for faster weapon reload or health regeneration or something like that to benefit your overall gameplay more. That said, we do have a few specialized perks. Namely, for drivers, we get the ability to change ammo types without losing reload progress for the main gun, which does not affect most of the automatic gun tanks, because those only have one ammunition type, but it does affect the tanks that are single shot, such as the Panzer III-B or E, the BT-7, or the T-26. And while it's a decent perk, you need a lot of investment to get there, and quite frankly, you don't need your soldiers to be that good when they're driving the tank, because your main thing you're going to be playing is a tank. If the tank's dead, the soldiers really don't matter, so any other perk slot doesn't really do much. And, like, you don't really miss out much if you do not have this perk. Then we have some damage related perks. And here we got a 50% higher speed of tank repair at 3, which just makes it so you repair the tank faster and extinguish fires faster. Meaning there's like less time you're outside of your tank, less likely for you to get shot, and you're more safe. We also get 20% more uses of the repair kit, because of course we got these tools, and with these tools you can repair the tank, but they only are limited use and you will run out. But if you have this perk, you can use them 20% more until they, well, disappear. Lastly, we have the broken tank parts will be repaired at 30% higher durability values, meaning that normally if you repair a tank part, it is either going to be orange or yellow when you repair it, if it was destroyed before. While if you have this perk, it can go all the way back to white, meaning it's going to have the maximum health when you repair it, which is a really good perk, because like, even a damaged transmission still reduces your mobility. And you won't be able to repair because it's already repaired in the eyes of the game, because it's just only yellow. But with this perk, you can make it white, and you can maintain your full mobility if you got a damaged transmission, and so on. It's a really nice perk to have. And overall, drivers only really benefit from the firepower perks, not really any of the other perks. Maybe health regeneration out of battle, because you might get like some shrapnel in your tank. One of your crewmates gets hurt, and they can regenerate while being inside of your tank. Then we also should have some pilot-related perks, and actually no, we don't. I actually forgot to double check that before we started, but it seems it doesn't really matter because I don't have perks anyways. So those are all the perks in the game, and kind of like what you should pick. So just to give you a quick overview again, if you want like a super soldier, like these premium soldiers, I really suggest getting the 200% more health restore until you get full advanced medkits, because those restore as much health. Get the higher sprint speed because higher mobility, more vitality, maybe more stamina, whatever you prefer really in that slot. Then more ammunition for main weapon to shoot more, and then a utility perk, again more stamina or less vertical recoil in this case, and this guy has less horizontal recoil, and so on. And that's that. That's all I really have for today, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all later. See ya.